So the transfer window is officially shut for the Premier League. So now brings a time of reflection with Craig Burley. And Craig loves to reflect. We're reflecting on the entire transfer window for Premier League clubs. Biggest winners and biggest losers for you. Well, let's start off with the winners.
Well, we shouldn't jump in just too quickly because this could change. And I'm not trying to sit on the fence here because the biggest winners could potentially be... Well, what I'm saying is they could still be losers because they could lose players before the end of the month because obviously it's closed for buying players in England but it's not closed for selling players. So there could be some movement. I would very much doubt there's going to be any big names, but they might be. But in terms of the winners, I think Liverpool. Everybody's talking about Liverpool. Not that they've done enough to catch and overhaul Man City, but they've done pretty much enough to maybe give it a good shot. They haven't lost any key players either after the Coutinho sale, which they seem to have spent well. And Klopp's been backed. I mean, some of the players that they brought in, you know, off the top of my head, I can't remember them all, but Fabinho, do you remember? Who else has come in?
Yeah, we've got Fabinho, you've got Naby Keita that's coming in.
Naby
Alisson,
Keita,
which was the goalkeeper.
Alisson. There's just been so much. Shaqiri come in, I think he'll be a squad player, but he has got a little bit of something about him. All these guys are coming in, fabulous players. So I think they've got the business done early. All these, you know, the Keita thing was in the bank from last year. We knew it was happening. Fabinho was done early. Alisson was done relatively early. They lost Emre Can to Juventus, but they've certainly filled that void for sure.
Well, on the other side of Merseyside, on deadline day, Everton made around 4 signings in the last 10 minutes, and they also picked up Yerry Mina from Barcelona for 27 million, about that, just a little over, when he was linked with a move to Manchester United. Is this big for Everton, do you think?
I think pretty big for them. They've had a bit of a scattergun policy in the last few years. They brought in a director of football. I don't think he's there anymore. Now that Marco Silva's in, they've kind of gone back to restructuring a little bit. He's kind of been up and down. I really liked him at Hull. Started really well at Watford, then it kind of fell apart. So it's a big job for him. Nobody really, you know, a lot of people didn't want Allardyce there. They've backed him with the Richarlison signing. I think that's a lot of money for that player. We'll see. Yerry Mina was talked about as somebody United were after if they didn't get their #1 targets, i.e. Alderweireld, Jerome Boateng, his name was mentioned. But I think Yerry Mina was always somebody that Mourinho was never really too keen on. But it was kind of a desperation for them. But in terms of Everton, it's a pretty good signing for them.
All right, well, now let's talk about...
Lots of money on Merseyside, it seems.
This is, apparently there is, but let's talk about now the biggest losers, because we have 2 contenders, many would probably say, even though it could change, as you said, depending on if they lose any big players or not. Spurs, again, absolutely inactive. That's the first time since the summer transfer window was introduced in 2003 that a club has not made any signings, but some almost applaud their consistency and continuity in the team. And then, of course, there's Manchester United. Who gets the biggest loser nod there for you?
I think United, because their need is more. I mean, listen, Spurs finish in the top 4 next year and have a good run. Nobody will bat an eyelid because that's what Tottenham have been doing.
It's time for silverware for them, don't you think?
It's time for silverware for Tottenham for a long time, right? But that's what they do, right? And they seem quite happy with that. You know, maybe all the supporters are not, but they seem quite happy. I never like when you've got a good squad just leaving it alone. I think you've always got to freshen it up and make people think they're not in the team. You know, make your centre half or your goalkeeper, make your wide players, put your squad, put your guys under pressure. And by not bringing anybody in, they haven't done that. They haven't lost anybody yet. I don't think they will. They're going to be moving to the new stadium, so it's not a disaster for them because their limitations are and expectations are probably there. Man United's expectations, on the other hand, should be to be the top dog in England and challenging in Europe. And there's clearly nowhere near enough been done to bridge that points gap from Man City last year. So this is all going to come down to Mourinho. You know, if he's not, if this is the squad he goes into with the start of the season, it's purely a coaching issue. He's going to have to coach these players to be better, and that's down to him. Has he got a good enough squad to get more out of them than last year? Yeah, I think he has. Has he got a good enough squad to overhaul City if they continue in the same manner? No, not anywhere close. So I'm surprised. I mean, I don't know what Ed Woodward and Mourinho have been doing or whatever, but I don't know, but I'm sorry. This is not the Man United I know of recent years. Sitting in their hands, watching other players and other clubs spend money, watching other clubs run away, and they're just sitting there saying, oh, there's no business from us today. That's not the United I know.
All right, so we continue to be baffled by Manchester United after the Premier League transfer window has been shut. We will be all eyes on them as the Premier League starts tomorrow.